complaining. And the trouble was, if the worker complained, they were worried that they might get fired or let go. So we got, maybe in my whole time as labor minister, maybe 2 complaints. And we followed up on all of them with the companies. But the company would say, oh, no, we weren't doing that, you know. And so the deck is stacked against the retail worker.
It's hard to prove.
It's hard to prove, and the power's all on the company's side. And so really, effectively, although I brought in the law, when I look at it, it didn't work. The only way to really protect retail workers is a ban on Sunday shopping.
Ban on shutter it down completely.
That's the only way. The law that I brought in that's still on the books, it's not working. And there's labor experts that would say that not only about that law, but about many other laws that we have, labor laws, because they all depend upon the person complaining. Well, if you're working for a company, you're not going to complain because you're worried about losing your job. And then once you've lost your job, the company will say it's just sour grapes. You know, so the laws, the labor laws, don't protect people as well as we'd like them to, and that's one of the ones that isn't working that well.
Like with holiday shopping, for example. As you're aware, there was a Nova Scotians Against Holiday group, and they protested to get the holidays back, and Rodney MacDonald and your government caved in and gave it to us back. But this is my question to the people out there. I say, hey, you know, they had the right to refuse to work on holidays as well. Why would they, you know, campaign for a ban on holidays when they could all say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not working. But in reality, it doesn't go that way. You have to be very strong, do you not, to say I'm not working on Sunday or a holiday? Because the fact is, most retail workers are very timid.
Yeah. To say you're not working on Sunday, you have the legal right, and that's in law. And so, yeah, retail workers should avail themselves of that law. The problem is they worry, and I don't blame them.
It's a gray area, is it not? Really?
Well, they worry that the company will say, okay, you're not working today, but then I'm not going to give you any days. You know, because the company can get back at you. Now, they're legally not supposed to do that.
They're not allowed to legally cut your hours.
They're not allowed to cut your hours, but there's so many different ways that, and the person's worried. The person, you know, they're not making a big income because retail workers don't get paid that well in our society, and they're depending upon that to get by. They have a family. They don't want to chance it. So really, the only way to protect retail workers on Sunday was the ban on Sunday shopping. And I guess I get a little annoyed too. I think all parties are guilty in this, but the Liberals, I find it rather strange that now they want to give us one holiday once a year, Joe Howe Day or something, and they took away 52 days for retail workers.
Exactly, that's my point I made to Diana Whalen. I sent her an email.
What response did you get back?
She didn't answer me. She didn't answer me about the Sunday. She said, you know, thank me for supporting her for the Family Day in February, but she thanked me for my strong views on Sunday shopping. She didn't say, well, Tony, you have a point, or Tony, you didn't have a point. And this is why people in Nova Scotia are so frustrated with politicians, because they don't get an answer.
Yeah. The thing too that was odd to me is I got lots of calls when we won the plebiscite, and John Hamm stayed firm on it. I got calls from across Canada, people saying that that lifestyle that we had here, where you had a common family day, was good, and we shouldn't give it up. And I know that PEI is trying to. They still don't have Sunday shopping, do they?
They have it for half the year over in PEI.
Okay.
But the other half, the stores are closed. The big problem with Prince Edward Island is there's no legislation protecting it's worse than what our protection is. Like, for example, if you're a new employee coming on, you can't refuse to work on Sunday.
Right.
There's your choice. That really upset me with the current laws over in the island. Yeah, because they didn't adopt Ontario's laws and Nova Scotia's laws. And I worked really hard with you and Michael Baker and John Hamm at the time to get it in, and I want to say this on camera and with you here. I think John Hamm was one heck of a good premier. That is one man that I have always respected, because he did stand by the people.
The retail workers.
Yes.
Well, let's hope, Tony, that the NDP, the Darrell Dexter government, with a majority, will stand by the words that, because I think Darrell's quoted in that too, a little later on.
Darrell quotes this in the legislature. Now this is about holidays. This is when Darrell Dexter was opposition. In the rules of House Assembly, we don't have to work. In fact, it's prohibited. The House doesn't have to sit. I'll read specifically what the rules of the House say. The House shall not meet on New Year's Day, Good Friday, Easter Sunday, Easter Monday. Hey, we don't even have Easter Monday. Victoria Day, stores are open. Canada Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving Day, Remembrance Day, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day.
And if I remember, and I'm not sure on this, but if I remember, it also says Sunday.
No.
He didn't say Sunday, but in the rules of the House, it also has Sunday, I think.
Oh, is that correct?
I can't remember, but it used to have Sunday. Now, it may have changed. So MLAs aren't supposed to work on Sunday in the legislature. Why do retail workers have to? Now, one of the arguments you'll get is, well, you have people pumping gas who work on Sunday. Why should they have to work if retail workers don't? And always you're going to have on Sunday in a modern society, people at airports, etc., you're going to have some people working on Sunday, and you have to protect those. But what we need is as many people as possible not working on a day so they can do things like visit with their family, talk to their neighbor, and we can take a stance that there are more important things than shopping.
Didn't gas stations years ago alternate?
They used
what would
to alternate.
Be wrong with that?
And they could do that where you'd have a drugstore open in an area and all the others could shut. What you want to do is have as many people not working on the same day, so that civic society, which is what we talk about, which is so important, has time. The Greek philosophers, Plato, said the only way you're going to have a full democracy is if people have time to think about things, to talk to their neighbor, and to come to decisions. And the trouble we have right now is with everyone working, they don't have time to think about political issues, and so we let our politicians do it, and then we find out that they do things we don't like, as in the current expense scandal.
In a democracy, wouldn't you agree that, I'll give an example. Let's say restaurant workers come out and say, I'd like to have Sundays and holidays off, just like you people do in retail. Don't they have the option as a group to go lobby to the government?
Absolutely. And
this is what I don't understand. Why we were always played off against one another. I mean, we're all different.
Yeah. I never heard a restaurant worker be upset that retail workers had Sunday off. In fact, they supported retail workers. The people who were against the retail workers having the day off, in my experience, were the big box stores in Halifax, the Halifax Chamber of Commerce, and the big stores. But a restaurant worker, they didn't think it was unfair. They would like it themselves not to have to work on Sunday, but they thought great for retail workers. The people who pushed this